Hey everyone, this is the winter forecast for the 2013-20 winter season, 2012-2013 winter season, as I can say. And I got my new map, finally. It's like 3 times bigger than my old one, and so hopefully it's a bit better to see and everything. I might outline the states again like I did on my other map, but I'm going to look at this video first before I actually do that. But anyways, much bigger map and stuff, so I can actually move around and you can see where I'm pointing to, as opposed to just pointing to one area and it looks like I'm pointing to like the whole country. Anyway, so let's get going. Alright, so this winter, actually, the forecast came out a couple days ago, and I've been just looking at it and trying to analyze exactly how I want to say, what things are going on and everything. And so pretty much it looks like overall an active winter this year. However, it might not be as cold as some would expect, especially over the northern tier of the country, but also it's not going to be that mild like it was last winter. At least that's the forecast. Now again, with the forecast and everything, it's very tricky, especially since it's only the middle of October, and yes, we do have winter forecasts that come out during this time. However, you know, it can change, and I remember reading like back in 2009 or 2010, I think it was, that the next like 4 or 5 winters were supposed to be like colder than when we had like Snowmageddon in the Northeast in 2009 or 2010. Oh my gosh, now I forgot the year. But anyways, like I read that on a winter forecast back then, and it was really mild last winter. So you can't really go off by just what we say and stuff, and by what the meteorologists say and everything of like the forecasts, because it does change, especially when we actually get closer to the winter season. But this is like an overview of exactly what we're expecting, or what at least the computer models are looking at for the next 3 months, and pretty much is like a 3 to 4 month outlook. If you see in my other videos, I do like monthly outlooks, but this is more like a several month outlook. So here it goes. First, we're going to start back in the Northeast, as I always do when I do these videos. And Northeast this winter could be snowy, especially from the central Appalachians down to the deep south into portions of the Carolinas or northern Georgia. The New England state areas, it could be more of a mixed rain snow events when we have systems that form along the East Coast and move their way upwards like nor'easters. Just not seeing a whole lot of big cold coming into the picture. The computer models are suggesting this winter, so more of a rain-snow mix for most locations. It is going to be cold, you know, typical winter for New England itself, but just with the rain and snow, just more borderline, a more mixed bag, as you could say, than anything else. You know, obviously you'll get snow in the higher terrains and stuff, but like in the valleys and lower and coastal areas, it might be more of a mixed bag this year, like places in Boston and down to New York City. Going down to the Mid-Atlantic and southeast, we could see, again, average to a little more average snowfall. Thank God, I know, right? Like last winter, we didn't see anything. This winter we are expecting to see some snow, at least for the Appalachians, and going down into the deep south and stuff. Mind you, it is supposed to be more on the wet side this year, so that's why we're forecasting above average snowfall for those locations. Down to Florida, we are going to have, I know it's been very wet this past year and stuff. We're finally going to dry out a little bit this winter. However, it is going to stay on the relatively warm side for most of the winter. We could get a bit cooler than average going into late winter, into February and stuff. And mind you, all this precipitation along the East Coast this winter, most of the activity is going to happen in the later parts of winter, end of January going into February and March. Not so much in November and December like we did see last year around this time. We had that big snowstorm in October, the end of October last year. We're not going to see anything like that this year and stuff. It's more going to be in the later part of winter. So that's pretty much for the East Coast and stuff. So more active, I could say, for this winter than last winter, and a bit more cooler, which is a good thing because I love snow and I want to go skiing this winter. Moving into more of the central part of the country, starting off over into the Ohio River Valley, wetter than normal conditions are expected and stuff. A little mild though. That's what they're forecasting for most parts around the Ohio River Valley and going into the upper Great Lakes as well. Above average lake effect snow is expected along the what are they called? The Great Five Lakes, obviously. And then spreading over into the middle part of the country. Now, the upper Midwest, it is going to be a little drier and a little more mild this winter than most typically seen in a winter and stuff. We usually see a lot of snow in the upper tier, and we actually get, like really cold. This winter, it will still be cold. I know it's been cold up there for the past couple weeks and stuff, but it won't be very, very cold. So relatively mild in terms of average temperatures this winter goes around. And really not a whole lot of snowpack is expected, unfortunately, for the farmers here, because you need that, the snowpack is good for cropping and stuff during the springtime, and unfortunately the computer models are not showing a lot of snow happening along the northern tier of the country. Now, going into the actual middle and southern parts of the plains and the rest of the heartland of the country, it's been devastating with the drought, I know, and it continues to do so. Some places have been getting even worse, like Nebraska and Kansas. However, this winter, we are expecting some beneficial rain, so we could help along the drought somewhat this winter and stuff. But again, most of the precipitation will come in the form of rain, not a whole lot of snow for these places, pretty much from the middle, like you'd say Kansas all the way down to the Gulf Coast and stuff. Not a whole lot of snow, but we could see some. Mostly is going to be rain events for those places. Going into the Pacific Northwest and the Desert Southwest. Pacific Northwest, it is going to be relatively average, but maybe a little more precipitation than normal coming across places along the coast this winter and stuff. Temperatures are going to be generally cooler than average. So Seattle, Portland and stuff, you could actually see snow this year again and stuff. I think they saw snow last year or the year before. It's not rare to see snow in those Seattle and Portland and like Medford and Eugene and all that stuff, Oregon. It is very rare to see like big snow events and stuff, but we could get like a couple inches of snow this year coming across those areas. Moving down the coast into the southwest and the Four Corners region here, it is expected to be mild and a bit drier than normal as well. So I know recently, like, the Desert Southwest has been in the 80s and 90s. Like, San Francisco was in the 80s the other day. LA is in the 90s again today. Phoenix is still hanging on to near triple-digit readings, and it's the middle of October. So the heat will prevail for the rest of the season, pretty much. It might cool off toward the end of winter, going into the spring season and stuff, but most of the models are forecasting that just a little mild and dry coming into these areas down here and stuff. So, somewhat good, somewhat bad and stuff. I know that there are ski places in Arizona and New Mexico and everything. Might see a deficit in the snowfall this year, unfortunately, but we could get, some stuff in the higher elevations. One city that, like, a lot of articles I've read about is like Denver. Denver is supposed to get like average, average. I've seen it on like 5 articles, like average snow winter season for Denver and stuff. So if you live in the Denver area, or if you know ski resorts in the Denver, around the Denver area and stuff, it's going to be average apparently this year, which is good because Denver typically sees a lot of snowfall, and the skiing out here is phenomenal. If you haven't gone, I would definitely go out there and ski, like in Vail or Steamboat Springs or something. Very, very good, or Aspen. So, by the way, I forgot the name, but this morning, or today is Wednesday, October 17th, and one of the ski resorts out in the West actually had its official opening day today. I forgot where, and I just was watching it on the news earlier this morning, but I forgot where. But skiing is starting up, definitely out in the West and stuff. It will take another about month, maybe a little more than a month. It's around the Thanksgiving Day holiday into December when some of the ski resorts in the east actually opened up and everything. So, and we also have to get the colder conditions coming in to make that snow and everything. But pretty much that is your overall winter outlook for the entire country. Again, it's just a forecast and stuff. Obviously, it can change. You know, we can't predict Mother Nature. She's unpredictable and everything. So in a month, they could like rewrite it and say something completely different. But generally, this is what it looks like, especially with the models going in favor of not a very strong El Nino this year. The NAO, which is the North Atlantic Oscillation, which pretty much drags in cold air and storm systems off from Canada. And then the Greenland High, which when in the wintertime, it usually drops south out of the Hudson Bay and produces extreme cold in the northern part of the country. Last year, it didn't happen because one of the jet streams pretty much kept it to the north, which is why we saw such a mild winter last year. This year, they are forecasting that it dips a bit southward, and so we are going to get some cold into some places along the Canadian border and into the Great Lakes, going into some of the east and southeast parts of the country, but it's not supposed to be a huge outbreak of cold this year. So generally, I think, from my perspective, average overall for the most of the country. Just a few pockets of warmer, a few pockets of a little wetter, and mixed bags and stuff, depending on where you live. So it's kind of like all over the board this winter and stuff. But again, generally average and stuff. Nothing too extreme. It's not going to be very mild like it was last winter, or extremely cold and extremely snowy like it has been a couple winters ago and stuff. So I think it's just going to be a nice average winter, sort of say. Hopefully it is. Hopefully Mother Nature doesn't surprise us with like 90s in the middle of January, or like negative 30s in the middle of like March or something. So, and then again, with the stuff that I have been saying, most of the winter is going to come in the later part of the season. Again, end of January, going into February and March. November and December are supposed to be a bit quieter than normal. So that is your winter outlook for the 2012-2013 season, and I'll be back again at the end of this month to give you your November outlook. Remember to stay safe and keep your eye to the sky.